Hey friends, happy Tuesday. I've got an exciting guest for us today. We're actually going to be talking about a really unique concept about how you can grow fresh fruits and vegetables and produce inside of your club. It's super cool. I learned about this a few months back. The company is called Fork Farms, and we're going to be joined by one of the co-founders, Alex Tyink, to talk about the concept and think about how you could potentially bring this really unique idea to your club. I think it's a really good one. Before we bring Alex on, just want to give a big shout out to our sponsors of this show. I want to say thank you to Concert Golf Partners and the team of Peter Nanula and the fine folks over at Concert who are bringing capital solutions to private clubs all over the country. They do a fantastic job. They're here to answer your questions. If your club needs any sort of financial restructuring, maybe you're looking to add or update some amenities, maybe add an addition to the clubhouse, and maybe the funding just isn't there. These are guys that you should talk to and find out if they can help. If they can help, they'll be able to find you some solutions and strategies that will suit your club as well. Also want to say congratulations to Brian Friedrichs of Capstone Hospitality. Capstone Hospitality, of course, is a sponsor of this show, and Brian just got married. So congratulations, Brian, on that one. I think he got married out in California. He was telling me he was playing some amazing golf out there. So I just wanted to say thank you and congrats, Brian. If you don't know Capstone Hospitality, they provide marketing solutions to private clubs and specifically provide a sales force for your club. So if you're looking to build membership, reach out at capstone-hospitality.com. Also give a big thanks to Restream.io, the platform we use here to go live on multiple platforms. If you want to find out more and actually get a discount from Private Club Radio, simply go to privateclubradio.com/Restream, a fantastic platform. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Alex Tyink here. Alex, first off, congratulations on what you guys have actually accomplished. But for those who don't know, give us a little taste of how you built this company and what you can actually do for clubs.
Yeah, sounds great, and thanks so much for having me. We're really excited to be on the show and really grateful for the time. We have kind of an unconventional founding history. My personal background is in opera singing, believe it or not. So I'm definitely a career refugee. I went to Northwestern up in Chicago and I had a great experience. I actually got hired out of school on a 2-year performance contract for Opera Tampa, which I know is where you're at. And so I moved back and forth between Tampa and New York for a couple of years and nice. Loved my time there. During one summer, we didn't have an opera. And so I had an opportunity to, just kind of find my way around the city for a couple months. And I ended up meeting a gentleman who was growing food on a rooftop. And I thought that was insane. I thought that was crazy to right in the middle of Brooklyn, somebody's trying to grow food. I thought that was absolutely crazy. And so I had to see it. And I went and ended up meeting this group of people that were, just really genuine, good people. The space was beautiful. And being from Wisconsin, up in the North Woods, having an opportunity to get outside was attractive to me. And they were running this really interesting model where all the food that they were growing, they were feeding the community. They had this food pantry on the first floor of this building that they had this rooftop farm on. And so I decided to volunteer for them for the summer. And at the end of the summer, they let me bring home all this food that I had grown. And in eating this food that I grew, my eating habits changed, which I had not expected at all. It was completely unanticipated. And it was profound. For me, it was absolutely a profound moment where I started taking better care of myself. I started feeling better, really just put me on this real wellness kick that continues today. And the whole idea behind this company started with, can you help other people have that same experience? And so we've really built this company on trying to engage people in fresh food and trying to deepen that engagement. And what we've learned is that through deepening the engagement, people tend to have a deeper appreciation for new types of food, different types of food, fresher foods. Quality of food becomes looks a little different. The idea of new ingredients becomes different, and pretty soon people are able to transform their food service offerings and what they're providing to their folks, just by the nature of kind of rethinking where food comes from and how we build access to that food.
So why did you think of private clubs as a niche? I know your father was in the industry. Is that the impetus?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in clubs. So, my dad, who now I'm lucky enough, he works with the company. So he and I are kind of a father-son team in this in many ways. There's a relatively small team of about 10 of us that are doing this right now. And yeah, we've been able to work together for the last couple of years, and having him come on, he really reinvigorated that and reminded me of the club space and a lot of the great people that are in the industry, and also just all the unique things that clubs across the country are doing right now to really focus on their food programming and to really think about, how can we make the food and beverage side of the business a real thrust for member engagement and a real value add to, kind of the historic, excellent golf experience and things like that too. And so, we talked to some early adopters, the first one being Medina Country Club in Chicago. Robert Cerici, he took a chance with us, and that program's been going really, really well, and has grown over the years. And it's since expanded to a number of other clubs across the country. And now we're getting, shots even internationally for it as well. And I think really what people see is the opportunity to show their members right on site that, fresh food, high quality food is something that we believe in. We are gonna, put it right out there so you know exactly where this food is coming from, that you can sample it and even influence, what's being grown, and more than anything, provide access to foods that just aren't available through traditional supply chains. I mean, the idea to be able to grow chocolate mint or lemon basil or something really unconventional that the members may not even be able to get in other fine dining experiences, I think is unique and exciting.
It really adds to I think you touched on it right there, the experience, and that's so important. I think from a private club perspective, I've heard stories of like the Jonathan Club in LA. They had a garden, a rooftop garden, similar to what you were inspired by. But this takes it to a whole nother level. I actually want to bring it up on screen here so people can get a sense of this. All right, so this is actually I guess it's called a flex farm. Take us through this one, Alex.
Sure. So it's really simple. It's about the size of a refrigerator. Designed to look a little space age, right? People love, thinking that you're walking into the 23rd century or whatever, when you see one of these things. So very engaging stylistically. But more than anything, it's designed to be really efficient in terms of how it works. So there's a sustainability message around this that's really clear, where we're reducing carbon emissions by using this product, just because of how energy efficient it is. By having these LED lights in the center of it, and when this unit closes, it actually recaptures light on the inside of it, and that's really the core of our intellectual property as a company. It's a idea I stumbled into around 2013, and we can really confidently say it is now the most energy efficient indoor farming system on the planet, and can grow food for $1 per pound. But you're talking really high quality products that are sometimes, like fresh basil in Wisconsin right now, it wholesales for $40 a pound.
Wow.
So yeah, some pretty great food budget options there as well. But more than anything, it grows a lot of food in a really small amount of space, and it doesn't take really any energy at all to run, which is really what our key is. We want to make the engagement around this the fun part, harvesting and planting and seeing the crop grow, and seeing that then transfer to the menu. That's really what we're about. All the rest of it, we want to remove all the headaches. And so I don't know if you can see in the picture, but on the picture on the left, every block of 9 plants, so every 3x3 block of plants, is a removable panel that just slides out, and it's dishwasher safe. And so to clean this thing, you literally just pop out these panels and run them through your commercial dishwasher system just a couple times a year. Otherwise, you have to add water to it once a week. That whole process takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes a week. And every month, it'll pump out 20, 30 pounds of food. And what we've seen some clubs do is they'll grow like this beautiful, we have recommended crops that tend to grow really well and be really robust. And there's a red oak leaf lettuce variety that it grows as like a broad flat head, and it has a rosette pattern on the front. And we've seen a lot of chefs take that and just plate the entire head and then build like this beautiful salad around that. Or the lemon basil has been really popular just because there's unique things you can do also on the cocktail side of the business with the bar, being able to add different mint items. In mint julep season, you can get creative with not just the standard spearmint. You can have a lot of different other varieties there. So it's really, the sky's the limit, and we love to work with our partners and really to figure out how do we help them build the program that best suits them. But otherwise, it's really simple. It just water recirculates and the light turns on and off on a timer, and that couldn't be easier.
That's really cool. Now, I assume you can like plant crops that aren't necessarily seasonal at different times of the year. Is that right?
Yeah, think about Medina in Chicago. They've got maybe a 3-month growing season in Northern Illinois right there. And they do really creative things. They've got chickens and they tap their maple trees. They're doing really cool stuff on the food side, but none of the outdoor gardening they can do year round. They've got 3 months, that's about it. And that's really the case across the country. Even in Tampa, it gets so hot during the summer that it gets pretty untenable to grow food outdoors. And during your rainy season, that can be troublesome too, depending on what you're trying to grow. So we've found that no matter what the climate is for this, the consistency and the predictability of the food, and just the fact that you don't have to worry about rabbits and deer and weeding and all the other pain that comes along with outdoor gardening. That's just, it turns all of that into this pretty plug and play recipe.
Now, do most people have one of these units there? Do they have multiple units? How does it work?
It really depends on what they're trying to accomplish. We've seen anywhere from a single placement that's used just as much as a display as it is for a production system, up to, we have groups that have 20 or 30 of these things daisy chained together in an actual production farm. And so for us, our whole idea is to be very deployable. So these things set up in like 15 minutes. They get growing really quickly. We don't do any add-on type structure with this where you got to worry about, okay, when I buy this, do I have to worry about buying other stuff? It's like, no, like everything you need comes with it, ready to go. And so from there, we just work with the end user to say, what are you trying to accomplish? We can kind of scope out for them the appropriate size system. And our whole plan is there's lots of space out there. As opposed to building a brand new building for something like this, we should be able to find a corner somewhere to be able to run a program successfully without having to go through the larger capital investment and all the headache that comes along with that.
So what are the most common vegetables or produce that people are growing at clubs right now, would you say?
It's a variety. I think the real hits have been over time, the salad greens and all the herbs that are available, just because the productivity of the system with that is so strong. You get so much volume of those products over time. We can economically grow, other fruiting, flowering crops, strawberries, cherry tomatoes, baby cucumbers, things like that. They will grow. You'll be able to get crop out of them, but it's really with the volume of members that are coming through and the number of people that you want to engage in the program, doing the leafy greens just allows you to involve more people in the process. But the sky's the limit there. They're doing Swiss chards and they're doing arugula, and I mean, there's so much variety on the salad green side alone. But then when you talk about the herbs, that's where the chefs are really getting creative. I mean,
Yeah.
lavender was something that came up recently that folks were doing for the craft cocktail side. I mean, I could go on and on. There's lists of literally thousands of potential crops.
I love it. I love it. Well, we got a live question that just came in from Skip Avery, and he says, Alex, can you talk about how you're introducing this to different schools and organizations as part of educating youth? How clubs can build it into their youth programs at the club?
Yeah, and
question, Skip.
Yeah, and Skip, he and I have met, so it's thanks for the question. It's great to hear from you. We have a lot of programming with schools. We actually have a 38 lesson plan curriculum. We have 6 short activities. We've got a badging kind of hydroponic certification course that we've collaborated with clubs to actually get that program into schools as part of, like Skip mentioned, an outreach program. And so it's a really quick plug and play way to make one investment into the school. And then that investment produces impact for years and years and years into the future. And we've done co-branding in the past, so clubs, they put their brand in our system, and really it's a way for them to show their community support and to help get the brand of the club out there, but at the same time provide this like really great long-term community impact. So I mean, think about dropping a technology like this in the middle of a food desert, where you've got folks in a low-income situation that have no access to fresh food, and now all of a sudden you've got this abundance of fresh food being pumped out every month. So a lot of impact on that side of it, and we do a lot of work on driving behavior change on this side of it. So it's not just about the food. Across the board, even at clubs, we focus on how do we engage people more deeply? How do we bring the community as part of the process? So even with clubs, we have this very simple to run volunteer training program, basically, where if there's a club member that actually wants to run these systems, it's really easy to get them up and growing really effectively without any headaches and pain points and things like that. Same thing with the kids. How do we get them to be the farmer? And we've done actually research on this, and we've learned that in doing that, kids it increases the consumption of fresh food, and also increases the positive perception of fresh food, which is the longitudinal indicator of healthy behavior later in life. So it has this real multifaceted, kind of unique, multi-application approach.
I love it. I'd love to see my kids eating more of what you're producing rather than the crap they serve at the lunch cafeteria, like chicken fingers and French fries and burgers and Taco Tuesdays.
And some parents are like, oh, my kid will never eat that stuff. But when they get this like farmer's market quality organic produce, like, yeah, they'll eat it. Like, they just don't want to eat the crappy romaine with E. coli on it, or the, the white and yellow.
Grown in front of you, right? Like, that's just an interesting experience to really know where your food comes from. And like so many children, I think, grow up that way. I've tried to take my kids to farms. We pick strawberries here in Plant City near Tampa, but a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do that. And it's eye-opening as a child, I think. I love the idea of building those habits early on. And you're actually giving like cooking classes, or chefs are doing cooking classes using your system in their clubs as well.
Yeah, exactly. And so we've been able to create that community engagement very directly, where chefs are coming in and teaching kids, or kids are actually coming to the club. Club members have gotten involved in that too, to help make those connections, either bringing it sometimes back to a food pantry, or I mean, it really has taken on a lot of forms. And again, it really comes down to, what's the club membership care about? What does the club itself care about? What's happening out in the community? How do we as an organization help just make those connections to drive the most value for everybody? And it creates a lot of differentiation for clubs, in such a big market, taking this, taking the investment into higher food quality while at the same time investing in the community is a really interesting approach, especially if clubs are trying to drive food programming. That could be a really multi-pronged approach to use to thrust that into the market.
I love it. There's so many clubs that have the core values of, they want healthy membership, they want to promote the healthy lifestyle. I mean, this is one way to really take some action and do that. When I heard about this from you guys a few months back, I was really really impressed with what you guys are doing, the whole philosophy behind it. But let's get down to like the economics. So if I want to install one of these things, is it something that I buy? Do I lease from you? How does the whole process work?
We'll work with you. If you're just going to buy one unit off the shelf, it's $46.95, so $4,695. But we do, and we have done with a lot of clubs, an internal financing program, 0% APR over 30 months. It ends up being like $160 a month, and that's been really easy for folks to just get this up and running really quickly.
I save that in produce costs, like right off the bat, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, you're basically at that point you're paying $6 to $8 a pound for those 30 months, and then after that it drops to about $1 a pound for the next few decades. These systems are not designed with planned obsolescence in mind. I mean, we want to be very environmental around how we do this, and it is a plastic product. It's recyclable. It's made from a lot of post-consumer as far as it can be. We can guarantee food safety, but still, we want to make sure that people can run these things for decades, not just for a couple of years. And I will add that we do make the consumable side of this. So like all the supplies that you need, like the seeds and the nutrients and all the stuff the system eats up. We don't control that. Like if you want to go on Amazon or to the local hardware store and buy your seeds, that's great. But we do offer it cheaper than you can get it anywhere online. And so we offer that to our members as well.
That's awesome. And just get shipped out to them where you have like a monthly order or something like that.
Yeah, it's quarterly actually. So just a quarterly box shows up and it's everything you need.
Beautiful. I love the concept. I love everything about it. If folks want to actually pursue learning more about this, maybe getting one of these units for their club, what's the best way to reach out to you guys, Alex?
That's easy. You can give us a call. You can drop us a line on the chat function on our website. You can send us an email. It's just info@forkfarms.com. All of those platforms, there's a real person in Wisconsin that's going to answer the other end of it. People can reach out to me directly if they like. My email's alex@forkfarms.com. Really simple. This is a space that we're really excited about.
I think it's one incredible, easy and efficient way to really create an experience to promote sustainability with your membership, to really impact the environment in a positive way. And we always see so many clubs being viewed as these wasteful places. This is one way to really change that perception in your community and really truly do something wonderful for not only your members, but the environment, and potentially even the community as a whole. Highly recommend you check out forkfarms.com. Alex, thank you so much for joining us and letting us know what it's all about. And I hope folks will reach out to you very soon, sir.
Thank you very much. And thanks for the time.
Yeah. Guys, I had an incredible time today. I hope you did too. We're doing this every Tuesday here on Private Club Radio. So make sure to come back and join us once again. Until then, here's to your membership success.